In light of the Kendrick Lamar, Drake, J. Cole, and all these rappers going back and forth, it has been brought to my attention that apparently, allegedly, Drake fesses up to being guided by demons.
Eesh.
Now, listen, in terms of the Kendrick Lamar, Drake back and forth, I don't have any allegiance to any of these guys. I think they're all scumbags. I'm not a fan of them personally. I think both of them make interesting music, but I'm not a fan of either of these guys like that, right? I'm not like Team Drake or Team Kendrick, like, oh, I'm from the West Coast, so I know Team Kendrick, right? None of that. But I do find it interesting that Drake said this several years ago. And I also find this interesting because Drake used to go to church with a friend of mine, right? I met Kendrick before several times. Kendrick's talked to me about his faith, writing things like Christian Corinthians, obviously Good Kid, Mad City opening up with the Sinner's Prayer. So there's some faith background there. Who knows how real it is, right? But we've seen him wrestle with that. And then with Drake, used to go to church. At one point, Drake was open to, quote unquote, being a Christian rapper because my buddy Promise was a Christian rapper. He was booming at the time. They were on Degrassi together. And Drake was seeing what he was doing, how he was moving, and was potentially going to do that, right? He's performed with Christian artists. I don't know if you call himself a Christian artist. Shad K, who's also from Canada.
But he's no stranger to the spiritual realm.
But he's no stranger to the spiritual realm, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Let's examine what he says here because it's kind of spooky.
Amount of effort. I can use all my heart and my soul.
What is happening?
I can use all my heart and my soul, in my writing. But at the end of the day, I am being guided by some other power. I don't know what it is.
A lot of six God worshiping. Devil's working overtime. Voodoo spells put on my life. But if the devil's in the details, then I'm satanic.
What? Stripping.
The devil want beef, we can knock it out. The anointing on me got.
Shout out to this creator that put this up. That's freaking fire. All right, so Drake says he's being guided by something else. Then he has all these weird lines
about voodoo,
about being the sixth god, and about Satan working overtime. The page that posted this is Calvin Jones Music. Shout out to Calvin Jones for Music for putting that all together. Seems like he's a fire Christian rapper. So, what do we make of this?
It's a great montage. It's a great guess.
Okay.
It says he's being guided by something else. I think a lot of people think they're being guided by something else.
Okay.
I think regular folks that aren't billionaires go, I don't believe in God, but I think there's something, a higher power, the universe, that is guiding me.
Okay.
Some take it a step further and then practices and rituals around these things. And then you have tarot, you have the new age, you have crystals. And then those things become a bit more obvious about what they're being guided by. But I think the people that think they're being guided by something yet also reject Jesus are ultimately
being guided by Satan. Especially if they reject Jesus.
Especially when they talk about them being the sixth god.
Especially if they're claiming God. Okay, so here's a couple thoughts. Thought number one, it's very easy to misunderstand flow state and think that flow state is you're being guided by something. Romans says that the gifts of God are without repentance, meaning there are people that will have certain abilities and talents given to them that God does not take back just because they're not using them to serve God.
That's a fire.
So if Drake is given a talent to rap and he's not using it to serve God the way he could have, it doesn't mean that the flow state he's able to tap into with his creativity is he's being guided by anything. It could just be the natural gift that God gave him, right? That's option one. Option two is that perhaps in dabbling and opening up to some sort of rituals, as Zach is trying to demonstrate to us.
That's Drake signing his soul over.
Yeah. Option two is perhaps there is some sort of demonic influence over some of his music. Perhaps. I don't know. So I think option one is to honor God. However, God doesn't take those gifts away. And there is a natural state that we would just describe as flow. And flow is when you just kind of tap into something and it feels like you're out of here and it's just moving. Option three, is there a third option?
There's always a third option.
What's the third option?
You wanted me to set you up.
So I think the third option is he's not being guided by God.
He could be, third option, he could just be, not the universe, just like the flesh. Like separate from demonic influence, but definitely not God.
Definitely not God. So option one, his gifts are without repentance. Option two, he's under some sort of demonic influence. Option three is it's just your flesh.
Yeah.
It's just repetition.
Yeah.
And you're leaning into the lust of the eyes, the lust of the flesh, and the pride of life. And when you make music that is the inner, quote unquote, energy of that, it will help you to connect with people.
It's easiest thing to sell.
Easiest thing to sell. So it is possible that is what's happening. I don't know which of the three it is. It's probably a combination of all the three. It's probably a combination if he is amazing talent that he's had to work on and refine, right? So it's 1 and 3, and then 2, like there is probably some sort of, you're offering this up to hedonism, or it's a worldview anchored on hedonism, and hedonism is ultimately whatever makes you feel good, whatever makes you happy, whatever brings you the most amount of pleasure is what should be enjoyed. And so I think that's a possibility. I'm curious where this entire situation with Drake goes and Kendrick, and if he ends up becoming, if any of this rattles him to reconsider Jesus.
For Drake to reconsider Jesus?
For both of them to reconsider Jesus.
Lighthearted rap beef will make them reconsider
I don't think this is going to be very lighthearted.
You think it's going to get worse?
I think it's going to get worse.
That's the title.
I think it's going to get worse way before it gets better.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I think it's Israel-Palestine up in here.
I mean, obviously it's not Israel and Palestine, but like the desire of the audience to see someone so humiliated that they lose their careers. That's dark. Like you want to see, because it's not just Drake and Kendrick. Like there's people who are with these folks that are making money. And so like the audience who wants to see someone completely lose their career is pretty dark. You know what I mean? Like that's different. Yeah. So you want to see one of these guys so humiliated that they fall off and they're no longer making music. I don't think it's going to happen to any of these guys, but there is that degree, like what happened to Meek Mill, right? Meek Mill's never been the same. He hasn't been the same since the Drake beef. I don't know how that's going to play out, but I would hope that because it's gonna rev up, it's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse.
Wow, what a prediction!
I mean, they're talking about Kendrick's talking about he's a better dad than Drake. Drake's talking about Kendrick's wife had relations with the bodyguard.
Ooh,
like this is a real serious dark stuff, you know?
Yeah, it's not fun.
So anyway, yeah, and I don't know. Someone asked why are they so obsessed with devils and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. I think some of them are trolling. I think some of that stuff is real. I think some of them know that they're playing the villain, and so they're leaning into it. I have no idea. So anyway, I'd like to hear from you guys though on this situation. Let me know what you guys think, because I think this is all going to get worse before it gets better. But maybe, just maybe, if Drake gets humiliated to the point, which I don't think that we're there, to the point where he has to re-examine God. Come back to God.
I don't think that'll happen.
No?
Because I think he'd do that. If that happened, Kendrick Lamar would be like, I humiliated you so much you had to find God.
That could be fire.
I humiliated you so much you had to find God.
All right, guys, we got to go. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Thank you so much. If you do not have our Bless God Prayer Journal, you should go.
Do me a birthday favor.
Pick it up.
Go to blessgodprayer.shop and implement a daily habit of prayer for yourself.
Look, sometimes people struggle with quiet time because they're like, I don't know what to do. And so I got this Bless God Prayer Journal. So look, they got a section. I got praise reports, things I'm grateful for, prayers for other people, personal prayers, memory verse, I will get this done today, then my time in the Word showed me, and notes just for free thinking. This thing's mad helpful. Just writing down things that you're grateful for, just doing that consistently, that's another really good way to fight depression and anxiety, because it's I don't know if it's impossible, but it's really difficult to experience the feelings of depression and everything and truly be, genuinely grateful for something and dwelling on something that you're grateful for. This actually is really helpful for that as well.